Hey guys, we got big baller Landon here on the money. But he
So
doesn't have a mic.
Parker, I have horrible news for you.
What is that?
The guy that usually makes sure that my microphone is in my suitcase when I travel
Oh, yep.
failed at his job.
My goodness. We'll have to fire this guy.
Yeah.
He had one job.
He's got to go. He's got to
What
go.
an idiot. Absolute idiot. Would
So
his name by chance be Landon Cassill?
I can't disclose.
Okay.
I can't disclose
Yeah.
my employees'
That's
names,
right.
but I can tell you that I'm traveling for 2 weeks here. And so this week I'm in Charlotte at my house here in Charlotte, and then we're going to I'm gonna be in Vegas next week. So the AirPods are gonna have to do the trick.
Wow, we get 2 weeks of this wonderful quality. Amazing. Folks, this is the modern day show and content creation. We really don't care because if the content's good enough, screw it. People will listen. That's what I feel.
Like. We're just a three-legged dog right now because we're somehow you've been deathly ill, almost didn't make it to Mexico.
Literally was on my deathbed last week before Mexico.
I'm not even sick, but I just sound sick. I don't even know what's going on.
No, this has been a rough couple of weeks for the Money Lab crew. Really rough. And I think that's the best way to sort of just encapsulate the last couple of weeks. You know, between you were sick, then I got sick, then basically almost died, then headed to Mexico, then you're now in Charlotte without a mic, which means we're going to get next week. I mean, this month is just like a write-off for Money Lab. If you listen to us through this month, you are a serious, dedicated listener. So we just want to give a shout out to our sole listener, Denny Hamlin. We appreciate you, bud. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Denny.
Welcome to the Money Lab. I kind of look up mid-taco bite. You don't know disappointment. Talking all things motorsports by two real drivers.
I appreciate being called a gritty driver.
With many, many years of experience.
We've had to do that other people didn't want to do.
The most dedicated host in the motorsports podcast world.
Weren't we supposed to have somebody come on our show as a guest?
No, we did it.
Did we?
Yes.
Yes, for our 1-year anniversary.
And we definitely know what we're doing. Remember, talk through your mic.
I'm talking past it like this.
Well, if you just pointed it differently. Like, never mind. Never mind.
Let's talk about race cars. God's
This
sakes.
is our worst show ever. It's the Money Lap. I'm Parker Kligerman, back from the dead, hopefully. Joined by Landon Cassill, as we've gone into already. You're in North Carolina. I'm in my normal spot here. What else you been up to? What's been going on before we dive in all the racing stuff? Summertime.
Nothing. I was just a little bit of travel, and it's summertime for the Cassill family, so we pretty much left Iowa. Well, the kids and everybody left Iowa for pretty much the entire month of June. I'll be back and forth through there, but going to Vegas next week for the National Independent Auto Dealers Association show. Fun. So I'll be speaking on a little panel there, talking about that stuff. And I also just, if we could keep this low key between us.
Oh.
Did I tell you that I won a raffle?
Yes,
at the NIADA conference. Yes,
you did this last week.
Did I? I did this on the show. Oh, okay. Yeah. Never mind. So there really isn't anything going on. There's literally nothing. There's literally no updates. If we talked about this on the show, then we don't have to repeat it. But yeah, I'm 1 week away from driving supercars at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
You're just so excited to finally get your chance to see if you could be a good professional race car driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations, man. What a cool deal. Just a young car dealer that has gotten the chance and the opportunity to step on the big track, a fast car, see if they've got what it takes. We'll see. It's going to be fun. Like I mentioned, I was in Mexico for the much discussed first ever, or first in a bajillion years International Points Cup race. I was there just Friday, Saturday, basically. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But like I said, was a little under the weather. I was in Mexico physically, but on such a steady stream of cold meds, I would say I don't know if I was actually in Mexico. So it was quite a time for me.
You were on another planet?
Yeah, I slept most of the time in the hotel room. And then obviously was just there at the track for doing the broadcast stuff. But overall, pretty cool from what I saw, and from being at least at the event and the enthusiasm of the area and, beautiful city for sure. Like any other big city, like often at times I felt like I was in LA or New York. And, just similar big city vibes. But, great food, amazing food from the little bit when I eventually got my taste back.
Did you
That was
venture?
nice.
Where did you eat? I mean, you were
I
there for 2
literally,
nights. So where did you eat?
I was there a couple nights. I hotel first 2 nights, but then the last night I went out to dinner with a couple friends, which was nice. I started to feel a lot better.
Where'd you go? Like, was it a
I
fancy
can't remember
restaurant, a
the
local
name of
restaurant?
it. Yeah, it was a fancier restaurant. In between, can't remember the name. It was in the area that we were in, which is Polanco, which is kind of like apparently like the ritzy area of the whole of Mexico City. There was a Bentley dealership down the street, Ferrari dealership, that sort of thing. So it was definitely that sort of
Jeez.
area. But the food was amazing. I did have a mezcal, just one drink of straight mezcal tequila that was tremendous. And they give you like a little orange juice chaser and salt around that, which was kind of cool. So that really helped my sinuses for a little bit, which was great. But yeah, great food though. Everything I ate. I mean, even like I did some of the, tacos, found some great tacos and that sort of thing. And even in the airport leaving on Sunday morning, I went to a restaurant that was like incredible
Mm.
food. So I was just
I
like,
wish I
oh,
would have gone.
yeah,
Somebody
great
should have
food.
invited me. I wish
Yeah,
I'd
they
gone.
should have. Wow, why didn't you do it? Cool event. Really cool to see. We'll obviously dive into all the particulars of the racing stuff, but I know there was a lot of discussion out there of like, oh man, what do we do in Mexico and stuff? I don't know. I think it's a bunch of hogwash. It was really cool. It's cool for NASCAR to go international. They absolutely should. I think the attendance was probably not the level that people would have hoped or what I would have expected to be, from what I saw. And the one thing I would say with that is one, that the weather wasn't perfect the whole time. Two, I did talk to some locals and, kind of gather some on the ground information. And some of them said that basically, the pricing was similar to the F1 race and that they really could only afford one and they knew F1, they didn't know NASCAR. Right. So it's like, well, if it's something new and different, you're going to go with what you know, which is F1, which has been going there forever. And as opposed to NASCAR, and open wheels really ingrained. I think if IndyCar went down there, they probably could have an easier time because CART went there for many years. And, sort of there were so many Mexican drivers that drove in IndyCar and CART over the last 2 decades. So, NASCAR is definitely a new thing. I think it was cool for them to do it.
Mhm.
And there was a couple other factors just in terms of like people, not really realizing what NASCAR was compared to like NASCAR Mexico, apparently, and that sort of thing. So I think there was some work to do there marketing wise, but nonetheless, I think overall a success and it was cool to see and be a part of.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hope they continue doing stuff like that, whether it's in Mexico or obviously going to Canada or even abroad further. I think NASCAR absolutely should try to be international in some, a small capacity.
At the minimum, Mexico and Montreal right now, I think
Yeah.
should definitely be on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I love that. How much were tickets? Any idea?
No, I
Like, what
don't
generally
know.
speaking?
I didn't look it up. Josh, do you know what the tickets were?
Nope.
This was
Didn't-
completely anecdotal, on the ground evidence, by the way. Just talking to some
Mhm.
locals, talking to some of the
Mhm.
drivers that we had and that sort of thing.
I'll see if I can find out, but I don't remember.
Who promoted the race? Was it this dumb question? What did
It's
NASCAR just do it themselves,
no.
or who?
So it's OCESA, which I guess does all the races down there for F1, Formula E, and NASCAR. So I think they're kind of the main promoter of that area and that track. OCESA or whatever. And so I'm sure they kind of just went with their template, right? And maybe had to do something a little different. I think Suarez winning on Saturday and the press he got from that, maybe it didn't directly help Sunday, but if they go back, he's, going to be even bigger star than he was. You know what I mean? Sort of thing. Like, I think his star power can have a huge effect on that. And
That's a big deal.
That was a pretty big deal that when he won. It was awesome. Really, really cool. So, except he did on the wrong damn day. I picked him for the Sunday, not Saturday. I didn't think he'd do it Saturday. So, anyway, I thought it was cool. Good times. We're going to talk NASCAR Cup Series, like I said. We're also going to talk some F1 and open wheel as a whole, and IndyCar, which raced in Gateway, which was actually a tremendous race. But basically, if we dive into the actual Cup race at Mexico, SVG whooped them, won by over 16 seconds in the final run. Just a complete slaughtering. It was actually awesome to start, like with the rain and everyone slipping and sliding around. But as it dried out and became more of a natural race, that guy was in a different zip code speed-wise.
Yeah, and it kind of just further repeats this point that NASCAR drivers are just kind of okay at road course racing, and they can get really good at it if they know the track. Otherwise, if we're going to a new road course, you should probably put your money on a specialist like SVG.
And it's funny you use the term
SVG.
specialist, but I love that you use the word specialist, which I know we've done on here a million times. But I was talking to Ross, who was doing the booth stuff with us, and we kind of went down that path. And I made a comment, and I was like, you know, for us, like focused to become a Cup Series driver, you're a generalist, not a specialist. And he just, you know, went, yep. It's like, you've got to be a generalist. You can't be a specialist unless you have some unique path to the Cup Series. But if you go into, you know, I want to be a NASCAR driver and choose to sort of make your path directly from being a kid to being a Cup Series driver, you're going to end up being a generalist. There isn't going to be a specific area of which you are most likely a specialist, like an SVG who, for most of his life, raced just stock cars on road courses, right? We've gone a million times on what makes him so good and that sort of thing. We don't need to go down there. I just thought this was interesting. So Carson Hocevar was talk of the town going into post Nashville after he wrecked Stenhouse there and was close, you know, finished top
He's
3.
reaching law of attraction levels of psychology when it comes to Stenhouse.
Then he just runs into him as a lap down. Stenhouse gets into his window afterwards and basically says, you know, I'll see you. And when we get back to the USA, I'll show you what, you know, how angry I am. I thought that was pretty intelligent, by the way.
And not beat his ass in Mexico where who knows what would happen to him.
I wouldn't have thought of that, but I think that was pretty intelligent. I was like, damn, you are 100% right. Man. Like, you're in a foreign country. No reason to do that there.
I don't know. Like I said, they're like law of attraction levels right now. Now they just can't even avoid each other.
I know. Carson Hocevar, it was announced, though, he was also internally penalized by Spire, his team, $50,000 and required to do sensitivity training after calling Mexico a before he got there. What are you doing, bud?
Oh my gosh. You know what? That was stupid. First of all, streaming is hard, man. You got to be careful. You and I have done it. It's so easy to just run your mouth when you're talking on a mic. We do it here, but at least we have each other. It's hard to stream. You just talk, you know, it's like you just, maybe that's the benefit of it. Maybe that's why there's an audience there too. You know, it's like, because people just end up authentic and saying whatever's on their mind. But I you know, the Carson kind of getting wrapped up in saying all that about Mexico was stupid, because it's like you just getting wrapped up in all that this little hive mind of negativity around that race. You have these spotters and these people on social media that are just like on NASCAR going to this race because it's hard or different, or, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's stupid opinions, really stupid opinions. However, there are certain people in the industry that, they probably had to take greater risks than others, or greater, changes to their normal process, their job, what they signed up for, than others to make this race happen. And those people should be recognized for sure. I mean, I'm one to think of as like hauler drivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it takes to, you're used to driving up and down the relatively safe highways in the United States, and now all of a sudden you have to do a 12 hours worth of your drive, or however much any hours worth of your drive through a foreign country, escorted by police, and across these borders and all that stuff. That is a little scary, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to do that. I'm not definitely not trying to say that like this is not trying to be ridiculous about it, but I just think that this like cynicism towards racing in a foreign country and in Mexico is stupid. So I should, Shane, Carson doesn't need our lecture on this show right now. But yeah, I mean, it's like shame on him for getting caught up in all that, because I'm pretty sure he had a Mexican-based sponsor on his car, and he's 20-something years old and racing in the NASCAR Cup Series in Mexico. Like, oh, have fun.
Yeah.
Like, go enjoy it. You should have gone 2 days early and partied for a day instead of, get on your stream and bitch about it.
Yeah.
But obviously he's, I think he's regretful over it anyway. So I will end my lecture.
Well, no, I think you brought up a great point, which is the streaming deal, which I don't think a lot of people from the outside would even understand what you kind of meant by that, which is, when you do Twitch streaming, you're racing on iRacing and you're doing different races, and you're going, and then you'll have a race and then there's a break as you wait for the next race, or you want to go do something else. And so you're just sort of chatting to a camera on video being recorded, and you're usually having a written chat on the right where everyone who's watching can interact with you. And to your point, it's kind of like a couple hours of you just chatting by yourself.
To yourself.
Basically. Yeah, to yourself. And so it is,
but like no accountability.
Right. And there's no hiding. Like, you're live on camera for hours on end. And so, that's a unique concept. I think, odd fans who were there during the COVID time saw us doing that when we were racing on iRacing all the time when we couldn't do anything else. But I think if you don't really realize what that's like, it's like, live streaming just yourself at any time. And there's going to be, it's very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Intrusive. Like, there's no hiding. So, and it's unfortunate.
Let the intrusive thoughts win.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I've actually complimented him. I sent him a note there probably a couple weeks ago, and he has those where he takes, like, I don't know if he has an editor or whatever, takes a compilation of the funniest moments from those streams and makes them into like an Instagram video that blow up. They do great and they're hilarious. And, streaming over 4 or 5 hours is not that funny always, because it's, a lot of dull time and that sort of thing. But when you take the highlights and put it in a minute-long video or 60 or 50-second video, 30-second video, it's really funny. And so I was like, dude, this is genius. Like, I love it. It's awesome. But to your point, the downside of that is you have moments like this. And I don't, he's a public figure, so you got to be careful what you say, right? And it's unfortunate, though, because what I was going to say is I don't want him to stop doing that stuff, because it was really cool. And I think it was unique and different to see a Cup Series driver this open and funny and showing that much personality on such a, long period of time.
So that's a great point and very, very well said. I want to be again, I know I said that I'm going to try not to lecture Carson this because he's already taken his punishment, but it's whatever. It's our show, so we'll talk about it. I don't want him to be careful with what he says. I want him to say, he needs to be authentic, right? He needs to say what's on his mind. He can get on his stream. He can say whatever he wants. He should be able to say whatever he wants. My problem is with what he said is just wrong. That's stupid. It's not, you know what I mean? It's, and I feel like Spire has worked really well with him, and, and just the sport in general is really, it's way more open-minded now than it's ever been. I think to drivers just being authentic to themselves and being a little more free with that stuff. So he needs to continue being that. He just needs to not be stupid about it, because it's like, what he said was totally wrong for a 20-year-old anyways. It's like, dude, you're 20 years old racing in the Cup Series and you get a chance to go to Mexico. Like when I was 18 and I raced in Mexico and they said, oh, you have to ride on the, the tram and you can't go, don't leave your hotel and I didn't do any of that shit. I walked out of the front door of my hotel and explored. It was like, I was 18 and single and in Mexico. And it was like, yeah, I'm like exploring the town. That's what I did.
That's awesome.
It's like, so it's like, that's what he should be focused on. Like that's where his mindset should be anyways. So it's like to make the comments that he made is like, yeah, you need to quit talking to your spotters. You need to quit. Like, don't listen to those guys. Don't listen to all these people that have. Just
Why is it always spotters?
I don't know. God bless them. They keep us safe.
I mean, it's just like, why is it always the spotters that are so controversial? What is it the makeup of being a spotter? The psychological makeup? Is there something specific?
Are we talking about this? Are we going into this?
I don't mind. It's up to you.
I think it's I mean, I say this with the utmost respect. I think it's literally the personality that fits a spotter is the personality of like the gift of gab, the ability to communicate, the ability to think, to speak, like to think and speak in a quick manner. I think that's why spotters are also the vocal ones on social media. They're the ones with a podcast. They're the ones with, it's like they've got the personality. They can see it. They can articulate it. They say it fast. I think that they're intelligent, right? Because you have to be intelligent to be a good spotter. And so, we can tease on them and they're goobers, right? And, I love to
all the rumors happen up there.
Yeah, the rumor, it's like, and maybe there's a little bit of element to their job that it's just like, there's, they all get together and then there's downtime and, and so there's maybe some elements to that, right? Where, you just don't see it from crew members, but it's still happening, right? There's still rumor mills within the crew, the mechanics of the world and the engineers. But I think the spotters just have to first of all, to be a good spotter, you have to have personality, right? You have to be able to speak. You have to be able to articulate what you're seeing quickly. You have to be intelligent. And so generally speaking, I think spotters, I think that's also why they end up running their mouths. And that's okay. I don't know. We love them. They're goobers, like I said. Some of them for sure, but I've always loved spotters. I just
they're the most fun to talk to.
For sure.
Always.
For sure.
Always the most interesting to talk to.
Which one was it? Was it Tab Boyd that like crashed out this weekend over Mexico?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, just literally crashed
I can't
out.
take it anymore.
Well, he was like, I can't take it. I'm getting solicited in the streets. What is happening here? Ron, I was like, bro, have you been to any major city in the world in the last 5
Yeah,
or
but
6
you know
years?
what? If somebody stole his backpack or something, I don't blame him. If that happened to him, fine. Like, I don't blame him. Like, I'm pretty sure the same thing happens every time they go to Oakland when they fly into Oakland to go to the Sonoma race, right? Like, literally every single time we go to Sonoma, when they fly into Oakland and they stop at In-N-Out, the In-N-Out that closed, by the way, for that reason.
Yep.
I've been to that In-N-Out before.
Yep.
And I've been there with broken glass on the ground. I know what they're talking about. And it does get a little bit frustrating when your shit gets stolen.
The funniest part is,
don't blame them for that. I feel
I don't even think his stuff was stolen. It was just getting solicited on the streets. And I was like,
right.
Hell, bud, have you been to downtown Charlotte lately?
Oh my gosh. When I landed in Charlotte, I got solicited for a ride for the first time. I thought it was in New York.
Oh yeah, it happens in New York all the time. Yeah,
I've never had that in Charlotte before.
Yeah,
you need a ride? You live for an Uber? Like,
yep.
No, where am I?
No, I'll use the app.
Yeah, like I use the app.
100%. So like that part is just so wild. Anyway, I think you were very articulate and kind in describing, but the spotter and why they're probably the most outspoken. And I think it's true. You're probably right. And there's something in there that makes sense. It's just so funny to me to always see like And it's a spotter again is making controversy. Like, and you get like, what? Why? Why the spotters? Where are they coming from? Why do they even have Twitter? Oh man. Anyway. Where was I going to go with this next? I can't even remember. Oh, our buddy Ryan Truex raced in the Cup race this past weekend. He finished 23rd. It was a tough weekend speed wise right off the bat. You know, filling in for Denny Hamlin. Didn't have his seat down there. You know, kind of had a tall task, not having been in a next gen car. Had re-raced one yet, and thought he actually did a great job on the race, like improving his speed and moved up, but got in some altercations where he was spun out, or put in really awkward positions, and was texting with him afterwards. He said, "Man, that was like bumper cars. I can't believe that was the Cup Series." And I was like, "Yeah, I think this car lends itself to that." Because if you looked at those restarts down into turn 1 and then turn 2 and then turn 3, I mean, if you're in the middle, yeah, it was just like dunk, 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 dunk. Like that's the nature of it. So I thought he did a solid job though. And what a cool experience to say he drove the number 11 for Joe Gibbs Racing in a Cup race.
Good for him.
Yeah. Prime got 2.1 million viewers for this weekend. Which is a little bit good? Down. Well, it's down from what would have been on, television, but it was the youngest audience yet for Prime and the lowest audience for a Cup race since 2017 in terms of age. So it's working in that sense. Kind of interesting. Yeah. That sort of thing is working. If you wanted SVG's car from this past weekend, the winning
you had one more to read through.
No, I didn't. Oh, the post-race show drew 1.07 million viewers, the largest of Prime's 4 races so far. Is that good? Was that what you needed?
If you're a racing fan like us, you've got to check out SpoilerDiecast.com. These guys are crushing it right now. Spoiler Diecast is one of the fastest growing diecast and racing merch companies out there, and for good reason, Parker. Jeez, are you okay?
I'm dying.
They ship same or next day, so your order is not sitting in limbo forever. They have a massive selection. They have over 1,900 products in stock, mostly NASCAR. But they do have dirt, sprint car, IndyCar. They've got F1, which I love F1 diecast, by the way. They're just cool. So right now, for the month of June, we're about halfway through, a little over halfway through, you can get free shipping on any orders over $100 and get a free NASCAR t-shirt of any or of a random driver. So it's kind of like what we did last month and the month before with the whole diecast thing. It was a little Easter egg they're going to put in your package. So over $100, free shipping, free t-shirt. Just comment your size in the notes, in the order notes, and use promo code MONEYLAP to cash in on that little bonus there. So whether you're hunting down a rare piece or you're looking for your favorite driver, go to SpoilerDiecast.com, use promo code MONEYLAP, take advantage of the free shipping and the diecast. Not the free diecast, but the free t-shirt while it lasts.
Hell yeah. Well done. What an execution.
I thought you were going to talk about San Diego before
Oh, well, I was going to get to that afterwards because it was a big topic. So I wanted to sort of move that before. I don't know.
Okay.
This was bad timing. Well, yeah, let's talk about San Diego. So Jordan Bianchi and the Athletic reporting that NASCAR's in discussions to possibly have a race in San Diego, which is Spanish for a
Saint Diego. Wales.
Wales vagina.
Please bleep that out.
Love you, Ricky Bobby. Anchorman. So, all right. This is interesting because I have heard this for the last couple of months, obviously, that sort of thing. The only thing I didn't see in some of the tweets I saw about this was expected locations. I did hear about potentially on like a base of some sort down there, which could be interesting.
Like a military base?
Yeah, like a military base if it's not downtown, I guess.
That would be sick.
Yeah, it was kind of
like
sketchy.
Like a full-on military-themed NASCAR race?
I think that was a possibility. So I might be completely barking up the wrong tree, and I can't remember where I heard this, but it kind of came to me, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So, yeah, I don't know what that, what it looks like, but I feel like cool. I mean, if the street course in Chicago is done, then let's keep it going somewhere else. I love that idea. I love, it
Could
would
you
be the
imagine that
coolest
for like 4th of July?
Oh, I mean, that was what I was thinking. It would be absolutely insane. And isn't this year is the 250th birthday, right, of the United States?
Next year.
Next year. Oh, so it would be perfectly
Ooh.
timed. Well, let's go. There you go.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
just piecing it all together.
it's all. Look at us. Wow, we're gonna make it on Reddit. That's amazing. Look at us. That's cool.
That's all.
Amazing.
If that's what NASCAR does, that would be sick. 4th
Yeah.
of July street race on a military base in
Well,
San Diego.
Would it be like an airport? Like runways, like Cleveland used to be for kart.
I don't know. That would be a horrible racetrack. It would be a great event.
No, it'd be cool as hell. Think about it.
Really?
Oh, dude, Cleveland was badass. The Cleveland
Really?
GP on the Lakefront, Burkefront, Lake Burkefront
Yeah, I mean, that'd be
Airport,
cool.
River. Awesome. Really cool. So we'll see. I just hope the street course idea continues, and if it's actually really cool if it's kind of an event that just moves every 2-3 years, right? And different cities and different places. I think it's a great idea for NASCAR. Keep it
You
dynamic.
cannot let Van Gisbergen win that race.
The
has to be Ricky
American
Stenhouse.
must win.
It has to be
must be
Stenhouse.
Stenhouse. Speaking of winning in your home country is the home driver. We mentioned it earlier. Suarez won the Xfinity Series race. Had an excellent. So, actually, I should back up a tick. Crashes in qualifying. Odd wreck. Apparently, just was struggling with the brakes already. Sort of missed his braking zone. Went hard in the wall. They go to a backup. He starts dead last. He rips through the field in really fast speeds. He was fast in practice before qualifying as well. Then, gets later in the race, gets onto the second row and has an excellent restart, 3 wide to the outside, and ends up taking the lead in that exchange. The 19 Ty Gibbs and the 88 of Connor Zilic end up basically wrecking. I felt like this track with the length of the front straightaway and where the restart zone would have lent itself to more of this stuff, but the way that, because it was 7,300 feet in the air, the draft wasn't working really well. You didn't get huge runs, which was pretty interesting. But it basically took out the top 2 contenders, and then Suarez went on to hold off Taylor Gray and a host of other restarts, and probably one of his best drives of all time, I would think, with all the pressure and the eyes on him, and to win at home. Was anything else that stuck out to you from that one?
Other than just, I love seeing that stuff. Like that, it's a whole event like that, right? Like if you take Suarez's story for that day, starting out with wrecking, going to a backup car, starting last, digging through the field. That is the type of thing. Unless you wanted to go down the path of conspiracy and just be like, oh, they NASCAR juiced him up to help him win, fine. If that's your conspiracy, that's fine. But other than that, like that whole little story for me with Suarez is a shining example that this is sports, baby. like you know what I mean? Like that it's just that the mental fortitude that it takes, like when there is a true will to win, that it can be done.
Yeah.
Right.
Great point.
Like that is why there is millions of dollars invested into sports psychology and focus and training and all those things. Cause it's just like Suarez wanted it worse than anybody else on that day and was not going to be denied. And so you can pick apart like why things happened, who crashed who, and maybe it had nothing to do with Suarez. But at the end of the day, the guy that should have won that race won the race, right? Like the hometown driver, once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to be in Mexico, win a NASCAR race. Like it just all happened. And I don't know. I like that stuff. I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. The one moment that it was possibly in major jeopardy was the final corner on the last lap, and Taylor Gray YOLO'd it in there. And Ross and I were staying quiet in the booth as Adam does that final call to the finish, obviously seeing what's about to happen. But as Taylor does that move, and it looks like he just misses Suarez's rear bumper, he and I are grabbing each other like, no, don't do it. Don't do that, Taylor.
Oh my
Like,
God.
you're not going to make it. I'm not going to make it either. But we're like, don't do it. Don't do it, man. And he doesn't hit him out. We were like, man, that would have been the mistake of the century.
He won the race, but at what cost?
Yeah, exactly. Like, absolutely
Oh
just
my God.
booting the hometown guy. Amazing story out of the way. I was like, thank you, Taylor, for not doing that. So smart move to not, or by the grace of God, it didn't happen, because you would maybe not have left there. So very glad that didn't happen. Let's talk F1 open wheel. It finally happened. We've been talking about it all year, maybe for 2 years now. The battle between Landon Norris and Oscar Piastri, and how this has been sort of unfolding in a way that maybe conventional wisdom said it wouldn't, in terms of Oscar Piastri kind of taking the lead of McLaren, being more dominant than Lando Norris as Lando continues to make mistakes. And sure enough, at the Canadian Grand Prix this past weekend, kind of falls behind, is making his way forward in terms of Lando Norris, gets to his teammate Oscar Piastri and makes a move on the front stretch, or first of all, makes a move down into the hairpin, which was a aggressive move, but warranted in modern day F1 in terms of you've just got to sort of lunge it sometimes if you want to make a pass.
Which I kind of want to talk about that for just a second.
Go ahead.
Last year, I don't even remember who it was on, but last year we talked about it on this show that Lando made an incredible pass into the hairpin. And the way and I remember how I admired how he reshaped the. I think we even analyzed it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But like he has a move for that corner that he's good at. Like I watched that pass and it was the same as he did last year. He fires it in. He completely moves his minimum speed around the corner, reshapes the corner to make it work, with this later breaking point. It's amazing. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's like, oh my God, this guy's good. He's got a move there that not a lot of people have.
Good point.
Continue.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I
continue
totally
because now we're getting to the next piece of it.
Yeah, so basically then they go side by side down the back stretch. He relents into the chicane, and then on the front stretch gets a massive run, goes to the left side, which would put you in the inside of turn one, as the front stretch sort of bends to the right, and there is no gap. Runs his front wing into the left rear tire of Oscar Piastri. It rips it off and forces Lando into the wall, ending his race. Kind of just sort of a aggressive move. I mean, stupid move. I mean, it was like it wasn't
even aggressive.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Stupid. It wasn't really like, I could see the thought process being the way that is where it bends around, and then it sort of allows you to do almost the same sort of move that he did in the hairpin, which would be like shoot it further left and sort of and shorten up the distance to turn one, and then hope to like clear him into there. But the timing was all off, and yeah, I mean, just looked desperate.
Yeah, he's kind of making a couple of these mistakes now that are showing some little bit of cracks in the mental game, I think.
Yeah, which we've been going into. I think that's
still rooting for him.
Well, he now has a bit of deficit to Oscar Piastri. He's fallen into the clutches of Verstappen and Russell in terms of points right now. He's got to make, I think he's more than a race behind Piastri now, or at a whole race, basically. So he's going to have to seriously turn up the wick if he wants to go and wrestle this championship back from his teammate. And I think this has been the undertone of the season, is that if he does lose this championship to Piastri, overnight, his number one status, golden boy of McLaren, that sort of thing, is gone, erased, which is wild. And he's been that guy now for 3 or 4 years, and suddenly, maybe 5 years now at this point, and suddenly he is going to be on the back foot. So I think he's got to get serious. He's got to find a way to wrestle this back, or what's going to happen is he's going to lose that. If he goes into another season and they have the dominant car, he loses again, he's going somewhere else. he's going to be
Mhm.
forced to leave McLaren at that point. And so I think this, for career trajectory, for all sorts of reasons, it'd be for Piastri, it's okay that you don't win this championship against him. You weren't supposed to. You are the younger, more inexperienced driver. If he, and you will survive and you will have a future there. It's not as important for every reason as it is for Lando that he gets this done. So
Mhm.
ended up that George Russell won, Max Verstappen was second, and Kimi Antonelli was third. I had chose Kimi Antonelli as the winner. I missed it by 2 spots. The guy got his first podium. Come on, give me a little something for that. Little yeah, a little clap. Okay, thank you. I had to clap for myself, by the way. But you weren't giving it up.
Nope.
There was a little controversy between Red Bull and Mercedes that was just complete malarkey. So the safety car comes out in the last couple laps, and and Max Verstappen sort of goes past George Russell under the safety car by accident as they're kind of like accelerating, braking, and he goes, George Russell brake checked me. And Martin Brundle on the broadcast was like, well, that's just him saying basically like that's why I was beside him. No harm, no foul. They end up protesting George Russell for this. And it was just the most ridiculous thing of like, well, how do you guys all the time warm your tires and brakes? You accelerate and brake.
If they like the accordion in games that go on under caution in F1, they would love NASCAR accordions in games that go on. Coming onto pit road, coming to the restart line, all of that.
Yep.
That was
100%.
just good short track racing.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Good short track racing. Anyway, nothing's come of it. It's the stupidest thing ever. The Canadian Grand Prix has been extended to 2035, and as we all know, it is on Memorial Day weekend, which is the dumbest, stupidest, most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of, to put a race on at the same time in the same time
Formula
zone
One
as
is like
Indianapolis 500.
Formula
What
One
the hell
is
are they
like that.
doing?
Formula One is like that dude at a fancy party that is way too fancy, and everybody's like, that guy's a douche. He's like way overdressed, way taking himself too serious, not fitting in with the rest of the group.
Yep, 100%.
And everybody's just like, just hang out with us, be cool, just be cool for a minute.
Yeah,
No,
F1
F1 cannot be cool.
No, I cannot do that.
No, I cannot.
No, well, I cannot lower to your level, you other trash.
Like, yeah, we're gonna have a race in the same time zone as the Indy 500 on the
This
same day.
champagne is forgettable at best.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
The only thing redeeming about them scheduling that race on the day of the Indy 500 is if the green flag is at 7 a.m.
Yeah, or if it was before it, that'd be fine. No problem. But that's not gonna happen.
Which is still stupid anyways, because I don't know how many Canadians come down to Indy for that race. Probably some.
Probably some.
But
and it's just the single biggest sporting event in the world and single day sporting event and biggest race, basically.
So if they drop the green flag for the Canadian Grand Prix at 7 a.m., then God bless them. But if it's like a 1 p.m. start,
it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like exactly lining up. Apparently,
God, they're stupid.
Just ridiculous. Anyway, speaking of IndyCar, Kyle Kirkwood won at Gateway, but that doesn't tell the whole story. It was kind of a crazy race. Joseph Newgarden went through an insane ride down the front stretch, upside down, which led to our boy Connor Daly, who we picked to win, had one of his best performances of all time, battles Pato O'Ward midway through this race for the lead, passes him around the outside. Amazing pass, amazing battle. Ends up finishing 6th because their pit stops were a little slower. But overall, excellent run by Connor Daly, and possibly one of the best IndyCar short oval races I've ever seen, like by far. There was so much passing, for whatever reason, it just was amazing. Usually they just run around and you don't really see much. And this one
Right. It
was
seemed like they could get next to each other. They could kind of
Yeah.
pop out and run that second groove, clean air. I don't know if it's, I mean, in most racing, it's like the tire is what just allows for that. So I don't know what was different about the tire and the temperature, like combination going on there, but that's pretty cool.
But they also, it seemed like the second groove was just working better for whatever reason, and maybe they cleaned the track better and maybe ran it in better for their tires and that sort of thing. But there was a definite difference from what I've seen there in the past, and really cool for IndyCar. They got over 1 million viewers once again, so they're on a better trajectory there in terms of people
Reminded
watching.
me how much I love that racetrack.
You like that track?
I love that track. I've
Oh,
always
God,
loved, I mean, I made
track.
my first Busch Series start there.
Wow.
And so it kind of holds a special place in my heart, but I've just always loved that track. There's something about that style of track that I think that I like, right? Like I've always loved Gateway, I've always loved Milwaukee, I've always loved New Hampshire, right? Phoenix. So that is sort of my type of track, but I've always loved Gateway. It's a good track.
And that's so funny because it's the exact opposite of my type of track. All of those you've mentioned are places I've struggled every time. Like I cannot. Flat tracks, not my deal. Not my deal. I've had good runs, but like New Hampshire, I sort of figured out. Last year was my best run there, probably. But yeah, no, those places. Phoenix, everyone knows how much I struggle at Phoenix. So tough places for me. I know you're good at them. But yeah, I didn't like that place. But for IndyCar, I've always struggled with them going to these smaller ovals, being like, is it really gonna be passing? Like I remember watching Richmond many years ago when IRL went there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, not a single pass. It was a terrible show. But and even Milwaukee can struggle at times, but this was excellent. So I hope they keep going. And it was a lot of fun to see some of the onboards. And I saw an onboard from Connor Daly at the start where he just like literally did the NASCAR top of 3 on the restart. And like all of them weren't expecting it. And knowing how he's run some NASCAR stuff, I was like, I know exactly what he's thinking. And he passed like 6 cars around the outside. It was awesome. Great run by him. Major thumbs up to Connor Daly. Wish you would have won it. Made us look super smart, but great run. Last thing, this past weekend was the 24 Hours Le Mans. I watched as much as I could in between, obviously doing my main job over the weekend. Mostly watched probably when we got done the Xfinity race and back to the hotel till when I was boarding my flight home. And the number 83 Ferrari, AF Corse, which is a privateer Ferrari, won with a really cool name behind as one of the 3 drivers, Robert Kubica, which many may remember as an F1 driver who was at BMW and then was eventually supposed to go to Ferrari from Renault, but was in a horrific rally accident around 2011, 2012, I want to say, and completely, ruined his left arm, has fought back from that, and now, just won one of the biggest races in the world. When you look at his left arm, it's amazing that he's able to drive and be as fast as he is. He's still incredibly fast. And won it with Ferrari, who he was supposed to go drive for in F1 before that all went down. So pretty cool story.
In one of the most beautiful hypercars.
Oh, is it not?
Like, it is just it's such a great looking car.
And is it not the coolest? I don't know if you saw some of these when it's post the end of the race and it has all the black soot down it and everything.
Oh my God.
It's all dirty, whatever. And I was like, man, I used to have those as a kid, some of those like race used sports cars. And they were so cool from the Le Mans sort of stuff where it's like covered in black rubber and everything. And they just look so good. Like some of the hypercars are odd or like, okay, cool. But for every reason, you are right. That Ferrari, not only is it the fastest hypercar right now, and I know people are calling for BOP changes and that sort of thing, but it's by far the most beautiful. Like best looking. So cool. Maybe the Porsche's
so
there.
Sleek. Like they're just that. Well, the Porsche looks good and it has just like a touch of that classic look to it, which is cool about the Porsche. But the Ferrari is just like, I don't know. And they're all right now. They're all amazing. I mean, because they all look very similar. But
yeah. Well, it's an amazing time. it was so cool to watch a lot of that with all the different hypercars. I just can't get over how competitive that deal is right now. I mean, then you've got like the Peugeots, which don't even have a rear wing, which is wild, and the Alpines, which they're all going to have to get better if they want to win, in front of the French home crowd. But overall,
random question.
What's that?
I should know the answer to this, and maybe you will. What's the speed difference between a hypercar and like an F1 car? Let's say the F1 cars ran at Le Mans. What would be? How would they stack up compared to the hypercars, or vice versa?
Le Mans would be tough one because of the long straightaways. But I know actually, Josh, if you look at Imola, I remember the comparisons. I want to say it's a lot bigger than you realize. I want to say the hypercars are like 6 seconds slower, 8 seconds maybe than an F1 car. Now reminder.
They have less like straight line speed.
Well,
right?
well, they have less drag potentially often. So they actually can have higher straight line speed like at Le Mans and that sort of thing, but they are lacking, I want to say, in the power for sure. And they are a bit heavier, I want to say, than an F1 car. But Josh, if you wanted to look.
Yeah, I'm looking up the qualifying results for.
Yeah, see if I'm right. I feel like it's 8 seconds or something like at Imola, which is it's a tight, small track, but that's a lot, right? It gives you the kind of the cornering potential and the power difference. F1 cars are insane. I remember when CART and IndyCar used to go to Montreal compared to F1 cars back in the early 2000s, and I mean F1 cars were 6 seconds faster than those. They're 8 to 10 seconds faster than a GP2 car. I mean, F1 cars are just in a whole nother plane. Like Jensen Button once said, even if you drive the slowest F1 car you drive will still be the fastest car you ever drive. Like they're in just another world of speed. And it's not that they're fast on the straights. It's not only that, it's that they're quick through the corners, right? It's just like they brake later. They create more downforce and grip than anything you can imagine.
Well, I do remember when I raced in Montreal, this was my first like experience of comparing NASCAR to F1. Going into the chicane in Montreal, we were lifting at the 650 meter mark.
Yep.
Into the chicane, and the F1 cars there lift like and brake at the 50 meter mark.
Yep.
So they're like 600, like basically 1,200 feet.
Yep.
Or what? I don't know if that was feet or meters, whatever it was. It was a 650, and the 50 was like a long ways.
And going 20 to 30 mile an hour faster probably than you.
When they get there, yeah.
Yeah.
So this isn't qualifying because I don't know how to get the lap times for qualifying, but in the race, the best laps were in the mid 132s at Imola for the hypercars, and the F1 cars, their best lap times were in like 117 or high 117s, low 118s.
Wow. Now, also one last thing on that, the hypercars tires are way, the rubber is way harder because it's endurance rubber, right? So their tires last longer as well. So, and hypercars are fast cars, so that's how crazy that is. Let's do our picks for next weekend. What do we got on the docket? What's ahead of us this coming weekend?
Pocono.
We got Pocono. That's going to be Xfinity and Truex, Xfinity, and Cup, right?
All three.
Yeah, I think all three.
Let me double check that.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
F1 do we have F1 this weekend?
No, F1 is off.
Nope,
and then IndyCar's at Road America.
All right. Landon, do you want to lead the way on picks?
Pocono is always a test of who has the whole package, who has everything, right? Like who is winning the engine, aero, everything game. So I don't know who that is right now, but I'm gonna go with Kyle Larson. Xfinity, I'm gonna go with Allgaier. Truex. Is I guess a good pick for Truex? Or I mean,
no,
who am I
he's not
trying
Truex.
to say? No, who was I trying to think of? The one that came from Colic. What's his name?
Oh, Hemrick.
No. Yes, Hemrick. Let's go with Hemrick. I was thinking of the other one, Chandler Smith.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna pick Hemrick. And then IndyCar Alex Palou.
Wow, he's back. Will anyone else win an IndyCar race this year besides Palou or Kirkwood? That's a better question.
Well, I genuinely wanted to pick Will Power to win again, but I was like, maybe they were cheating last year.
High possibility.
So if you want me to be creative, I'll go with Will Power. But otherwise,
Josh, you didn't write down his stuff.
Yes, I did.
Oh, I don't see it.
I think something's messed up with your Notion. It's
Oh.
not updating because you were.
I'm
that's why
missing all sorts of things.
Yeah, you're missing all sorts of stuff.
Oh, well, this is a great time to figure this out. Wow, awesome.
Just refresh.
All right, well, I'm going to do Cup being William Byron. Xfinity will be Taylor Gray. Truck will be Corey Heim. IndyCar will be Will Power.
There you go.
There you go. At least
Bam.
somebody got him.
Yep. Should we go into reviews?
Sure.
Unless Josh, you want to make some picks, or you have to sleep?
I'll run through them. Hamlin's gonna win it. He is gonna come back with just a baby boost and is gonna be able to get. He's just gonna come back and win it. I'm gonna go with Chase Elliott to win Xfinity. And then who's the other one that Landon wanted to pick for Truck, but he ended up not picking?
Chandler Smith.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him. And then I'm gonna run.
Josh is like, pick the race winner. Hell, I can't just pick a driver of the field. Name a single truck driver. Go.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna run it back with Kirkwood for IndyCar. I picked him last week to win, and I think he's gonna go back to back. And I want to see that championship gap close. I'm a proponent of good close championships.
Boom. All right. Cool. Good picks. Let's do some reviews. Apple reviews. We got a new one here from Ryan Wenzel Skate. 5-star real wheel knowers. After going to the Rolex 24 this year for my first time, I heard Parker's voice on the TV pre-race as we were walking the infield, and I told my fiance, "Hey, I remember that guy." Whoa. I then found you all's podcast and have been a huge fan ever since. 2 great points of insight into all sectors of motorsport world, and without having to hide behind a particular curtain like many other shows. Truly wish you all the best, and Parker will always be my real Daytona winner. My man. I appreciate it. We got some Spotify ones. You want to dive into these?
Sure. P Bear 792. Thanks for handing me that one. I remember waiting for Parker to get through a meeting with NASCAR at Iowa Speedway to sign my Dodge Motorsport hat, his rookie season in trucks. That was a long hair season for you.
Yeah.
Always one of my favorites. Great show with another great driver, Landon. Keep it up. Thank you. And James. Just James. What's up, James? About the Dodge Cup car. Dodge Charger 6-pack has an internal combustion engine and is available later this year, not just an EV. Thank you, James. Oh, that's right, because who had said that the Charger only is switching to
we couldn't. You had said it, and then we were like, "Wait, no, that's not correct."
I didn't say that it was an EV.
I'll take
Maybe
the blame
Josh
for it. I'll probably
Josh
take the
did.
blame for it.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Because I'm a really big fan of Cadillac, the other
right.
Dodge brand. So
You also thought they were Cadillac. Yeah.
I like this next one too. Yeah,
all right.
that was good.
You said
this one, CKY Moto. So by the way, if this dude is a CKY fan, that one goes deep. And then also shouting out to Lemons. Lemons is the future of motorsport. If you're listening to our last episode, we talked about 24-hour Lemons and Josh. Affordable and grassroots. Look at the success of the Cletus races with all the Crown Vics. It's similar, real road cars without a bunch of overcomplicating. I love it. It's like racing in its pure, in a very pure form. I get it. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I
feel a fairly pure form of racing.
I think anything that makes the access point lower the barrier to entry lower.
It's
Helps.
good. Yeah.
100%.
CKY Moto is back for another one too. So we're reading two of the reviews. What difference does Thor Sports location in Ohio have on its manufacturer relationships?
I've never really dealt with them. I almost went and drove there many, many, many years ago. But I haven't really dealt with them. I know they ride, what do you call it? They like drive to a lot of races because of their location in vans.
Mhm.
You know, I did, I ran into Ben Rhodes last year, I want to say, in Concord, and he was going to the Ford simulator, and he said he flew down like once a week, I guess.
Mhm.
And because he lives in Kentucky and would go there and do that. So, you know, I don't think it was much difference in them using those facilities as much as, you know, they still use sim and that sort of stuff. You just have to take a plane or drive. So,
Mhm.
yeah. This next one, that BK Racing fan, Landon Cassill is the GOAT.
There you go.
Hey,
That's all that needs to be said.
That's all. I mean, nothing else to say there. Hey, Hollywood One, Yahoo, the Money Lap Show episode just dropped. You just made my day better. I really missed you guys last week. Hope you had a wonderful week going to listen to this episode. Now they've commented. We appreciate that. And one here, which we get often, Def Lauderdale PI or PT. Feel the algorithm. Feel the ride. Watch out, world. It's Money Lap time.
Oh, I love it. Cool runnings.
Cool runnings. Oh, man. Well, it wasn't Money Lap time for one guy because we forgot again. Kyle Busch.
Sick from Mexico.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been sick. We moved this to Wednesday. He called in sick now. We're going to have to try next time. We promise. Kyle Busch on the Money Lap when it's Money Lap time. Peace.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to the Money Lap. If you like this show, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Share it with friends. We want to spread the word of great motorsports shows, of which we're somewhere up and around there. I'm not exactly sure where, but nonetheless, you can also reach out to us anytime on across social media or at our website, themoneylap.com, or at our email, friends@themoneylap.com. And of course, you can always leave us a review. 5 stars gets you on this very show. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Goodbye.